So let's start the lecture. Our topic will be the nervous tissue, the fourth of the basic types of tissue that we have previously mentioned. No, your nervous tissue is responsible primarily for transmission of impulses throughout the body. And they're characterized by having cells with extremely fine processes. No, meron siyang elongated processes extending from dun sa tinatawag nating from the center of the cell, yung cell body, no? And nervous tissue is characterized by having a very small amount of extracellular matrix. Rather, meron tayong supportive cells included in your nervous tissue, no? That's responsible for supporting the function of your primary cells, your neurons, no? So what is your nervous tissue? It's a type of tissue distributed throughout the body that serves as an integrated communications network. No, your nervous tissue is derived from the layer of the germ of the primary germ cell layer called the ectoderm, diba? We mentioned before that your connective tissue and your muscle tissue were derived from mesoderm. Your other internal organs, yung sa digestive tract, they were derived from endoderm. Yung skin natin, along with your nervous tissue, is derived from ectoderm. Okay? Pag sa skin, galing siya dun sa tinatawag na surface ectoderm. Kapag sa nervous tissue naman, galing siya dun sa tinatawag na neural ectoderm. No? So, let's leave it at that. No? So, kasi hindi naman siya super relevant as far as medtech is concerned. No? So, tandaan nyo lang that this is the germ cell layer where it is derived sa ectoderm. So, sa diagram that's usually color blue. Okay? So, the primary cells seen in nervous tissue, yung functional unit niya are your neurons, no? So, neurons are the star of the show, and meron siyang supporting cast, the stroma, you refer to as glial cells, no? So, there are multiple types of cells we'll see here in nervous tissue. The extracellular matrix is not a lot, so we won't be discussing that, no? The nervous tissue, when you put them all together, you form the nervous system. And the nervous system is actually divided into two primary divisions, no? You have your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system, of course, refers to the center sa may brain and the spinal cord, no? So, it's comprised of the brain and the spinal cord. Meanwhile, your peripheral nervous system is everything else outside the brain and the spinal cord, no? So, your cranial nerves, your spinal nerves, all your peripheral nerves and ganglia, or yung collections of nerve cell bodies outside the central nervous system, they're all part of the peripheral nervous system. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo lang dito, brain and spinal cord is central. Everything else is peripheral. Okay? Aside from these two divisions, so ito po, let's visualize lang natin the divisions or the organization of your nervous system. The central nervous system comprises of the brain. The brain, meron tayong cerebrum and cerebellum over there. And the brainstem and the spinal cord. So, dire-diretso yan. That is your central nervous system. Okay? And then, meanwhile, sa peripheral nervous system is everything else outside. Okay? Everything else outside, that's part of the peripheral nervous system. Okay? Functionally, meron pa rin tayong isa pang division of the nervous system. You have the sensory division, also known as afferent, and then your motor division, which is known as efferent. Okay, so how do you recall this? Diba? Sensory is sensation. So from, saan ka ba nagsisense? Siyempre sa periphery. For example, merong something pointy na nakatusok sa kamay mo. Kunyari, nagtatahi ka, tapos natusok ka ng karayom. Okay? Natusok ka ng karayom. What will sense the pain? It's the free nerve endings in your fingers. Aakyat yung signal, dadaan sa mga nerves mo, papunta sa spinal cord, papunta sa brain. Okay? So, sensory input going from the periphery towards the center, you refer to that as afferent. Okay? Afferent is ascending. Okay? Next, so, natusok ka ng karayom, naramdaman ng katawan mo, i-send niya yung stimulus papunta sa brain para maging aware si brain na ikaw ay natusok. What will your brain do in response? Your brain will ask your hand, the brain will send an order. Okay? Your brain will now send an order. So, dadaan yung order through the brain spinal cord, dadaan ulit sa motor nerves naman this time in order to stimulate the muscles in that hand and in that limb, that finger, to move it away from the harmful stimulus. Okay, so that is so if the signal is coming from the brain, papunta sa baba, you call that the efferent arm, no? So descending is efferent. Okay? From the brain to the periphery, yung order niya. You're moving something. Okay? When you're sensing, it's afferent. When you're moving something, it's efferent. Okay? So, sensory division, afferent, is also divided into two. You have somatic and then your visceral. Okay? Pag sinabing somatic, remember that it has to be perceived consciously. Okay? It has to be perceived consciously. Kailangan meron kang consciousness. You are aware that you're seeing something. You're aware that you're hearing something. You're aware that you're tasting or feeling something. Okay? There has to be awareness. There has to be consciousness. No, the sensory input is something that you are aware of. Meanwhile, you have your visceral sensation. Visceral sensation is a sensation that is not perceived consciously but is still being perceived by your body, no? So, yung mga pangyayari sa loob ng internal organs mo is being closely monitored by your central nervous system, no? Pero, as a whole, hindi mo naman alam na yung pagkain mo nasa kung saang part na siya ng small intestine. Basta alam mo kumain ka tapos digest na siya, no? So, do not perceive at which portion it is in your small intestine. Pero your body is aware of where it is, no? So, the sensory input, you don't know it consciously. So, from the internal organs, from your cardiovascular structure, hindi mo siya nararamdaman, but your body is aware of the sensation and they are adjusting on their own, no? Next, sa motor division naman, meron din tayong somatic, and then the other one, instead of visceral, you have autonomic. Okay, sa motor division, if the motor output is something that is controlled consciously, okay? So pag may naisip kayo, may nabasa kayong consciousness or being aware, or having the volition, or doing something voluntarily, you think somatic. And then you just think if it's sensory or if it's motor, no? So if you are controlling something consciously, so as with the skeletal muscles, as we've discussed last week, then it's somatic motor, okay? Pero if the motor output or yung paggalaw ng muscles, ng glands, ng heart is not controlled consciously, rather they are involuntary, similar to the contractions of your cardiac muscle and your smooth muscle, the division is rather autonomic. Okay? So sensory, it's somatic and visceral. Sa motor, it's somatic and autonomic. Okay? As far as autonomic nervous system is concerned naman, we have two important arms. You have the parasympathetic division, and then you have the sympathetic division. Okay? So the parasympathetic division is the one that maintains the normal body homeostasis. It's the one that is active in times of resting and digesting. Okay? So when you read rest and digest, you are referring to the parasympathetic nervous system. Pero in times of emergency, meron tayong emergency response system sa katawan natin. You have your sympathetic nervous system that activates during fight or flight, no? So, kapag you are in times of stress, in times of emergency, kunyari yung bahay mo nasusunog na, your body will activate the sympathetic nervous system and allow you to do feats that you normally would not be capable of, no? Kaya nga nababalitaan natin sa news, di ba? Yung lola, binuhat niya yung ref ng bahay nila kasi nasusunog yung bahay nila. Kahit normally, that lola will not be able to lift that up, no? It's because of the activation of that lola's sympathetic nervous system. Okay? So, for fight or flight, it's sympathetic. For rest and digestion of food that you ate, relaxing, etc. It's parasympathetic, no? So, that's just a general overview of autonomics. So, let's now discuss dun sa importance natin as far as histology is concerned. Siyempre, we'll start with the functional unit or the primary cell that we're discussing in the nervous tissue, no? Your neurons. Your neurons are the functional unit of both CNS and the PNS. So, you have neurons in the brain, you have neurons throughout the body, no? They respond to environmental stimuli by reversing the ionic gradient across the plasma membrane of the cell, no? Yung cells kasi natin, yung cells kasi natin sa katawan, meron siyang tinatawag na ionic gradient, no? So here, let's draw. Kunyari, this is your cell. Okay? So, yung net charge, kunyari, ng cell mo, negative on the outside, positive on the inside. Okay? That is the net charge of your cell. Kaya meron siyang tinatawag na ionic gradient. No, normally, without any stimulus, that is the normal state. Okay? Pero when a stimulus comes in, what will happen? There will be reversal of the ionic gradient. So, ano nangyayari when there is reversal of the ionic gradient? Magkakabaligtad to. Okay? So, this one becomes, sorry, palitan natin yung kulay. This one becomes positive. This one becomes negative. Okay? And then, what will happen? That reversal will be propagated across the cell's entire plasma membrane. What do you mean by propagation? Ito, magiging, babalik siya sa dati. Ito naman yung magiging positive. Ito yung magiging negative. Okay? Ito, babalik siya sa pagiging negative and positive. Tapos, pag nandito na siya, this one will be transmitted to the next across the membrane yan. Okay? So, ito, babalik sa negative, babalik to sa pagiging positive. So, it will move like a wave, no? Para kang di ba pag in a concert, pag nagpa-wave yung artista, magta-transfer siya, magpa-propagate siya across the crowd. So, ganun yung nangyayari dito, no? Pinapasa yung, there is the reversal of the ionic gradient goes across the entire plasma membrane as a wave, no? So, gagalaw siya, palipat-lipat hanggang makarating doon sa dulo ng cell na yon. Okay? It will travel along the neurons processes, passing the reversal of the ionic gradient until you reach the end of the neuron, no? And you call that property as you call this happening as a depolarization wave. Okay, so depolarization wave yung tawag doon, also known as action potential or the nerve impulse. Okay, so ganun nangyayari yung pag-transmit ng signals sa neurons natin. No, there is a reversal in the ionic gradient starting from where the stimulus was received, tapos papunta towards the next neuron the information is being passed to, or the next cell that the signal is being passed to. Okay? The signal is eventually transmitted to either another neuron or your effector organs such as your muscles and your glands. Okay? Next. So, let's discuss the structure of your neuron para maintindihan natin yung nangyayari, no? So, when you have a stimulus, it will be passed to the neuron. What is the part of the neuron that will receive that stimulus? Those are your dendrites. Okay? Your dendrites are numerous elongated processes extending from the cell body of, or the body of the cell, the center of the cell kung nasan yung nucleus. It will extend from the cell body and they receive stimulus from other neurons at unique sites called synapses. So, discuss natin yung synapse later on. So, basically, you have a stimulus, it will be received by the dendrites of the neuron. Okay? Pagdating niya sa dendrites, papasok siya dito sa tinatawag na cell body, soma, or pericardion. Okay? So, your cell body or soma, nandito yung bulk of the neuron mo. Dito located yung nuclei, dito located yung organelles. At dahil nandito yung organelles, this area serves as the synthetic center for the entire neuron because this is where your ribosomes are, where your endoplasmic reticulums, where your endoplasmic reticulum is, and also where your Golgi apparatus are. No? So, nandito lahat ng panggawa ng neurons mo. Oh. If you have to replenish some protein or make some neurotransmitters in your neurons, they will have to be first made in the cell body, tapos transfer na lang sila dun sa kung saang part ng neuron siya kinakailangan. Okay? Next, so yung signal mo, stimulus, received by the dendrite, now you're in the cell body. From the cell body, it will travel along a single long process called the axon. Okay, so the axon is a single long process extending from the cell body that is specialized to generate and conduct nerve impulses to other cells. Okay, so from here, dediretso siya sa axons until makarating siya dun sa effector organ, next cell, or neuron, no? So, ganun yung direction ng information sa neuron natin. So, your neurons generally look like this, no? You have dendrites sticking out from the cell body. and then you have the cell body and the axon. Pero syempre, hindi lahat ng neurons natin will follow that. There are different types of neurons based on structural class, no? Yung sinabi natin kanina, you refer to it as the multipolar neuron. The multipolar neuron has multiple dendrites arising from the cell body, and you have only one axon. Okay? So, ganun yung multipolar neuron that accounts for majority of the neurons in your nervous system. We also have your bipolar neurons. So, dalawang pole kasi meron dalawang nakaprotrude sa iyong cell body mo. Okay, from the cell body, you have an axon extending. And then, from the other side of the cell body, so from one pole here, another pole here, merong process before you get to the dendrites. Okay? So, before the dendrites branch, there is a process in between. Okay? So that is for bipolar neurons. So bipolar neurons, you see it more in the special senses like your olfactory epithelium, sa retina ng eyes natin, etc. Okay? And then you have your unipolar neurons. Your unipolar neurons naman, ibig sabihin, dito sa bipolar, di ba, dalawa yung nagpo-protrude from the cell body. Dito sa unipolar neurons, isa lang yung nagpo-protrude. It's a single short process. So, maiksi lang yung nakaprotrude sa cell body mo. And then that short process now bifurcates. Okay? The process bifurcates or splits into, one goes towards the center, papunta sa CNS. The other goes towards the periphery. And that whole entire thing is an axon. So, ganito sa unipolar neurons. No? There is a single short process that bifurcates. Okay? That's for unipolar. And then we also have your anaxonic neurons, no? So, ano yung anaxonic? Siyempre, an means lack, no? Walang axons. So, this type of neuron does not have axons, no? And sabi natin, axon is there to specialized for transmission of impulses, no? So, this type of neuron actually does not produce your action potential, does not participate in the propagation of your depolarization wave. What it does rather is to regulate local electrical changes in adjacent neurons. This is more for maintenance of homeostasis. Okay? So next, neurons themselves also have other classifications, di ba? Based on the direction, di ba? Pag papunta sa CNS, it's sensory or afferent kasi you're receiving stimulus and then you send it to the CNS. Meron naman tayo, syempre, from the CNS gives orders papunta sa motor arm of your nervous system, papunta sa effector organ, papunta sa muscle, no? And the one responsible for those are your motor or efferent neurons, no? As mentioned, merong dalawang division sa motor natin, pwedeng somatic, pwedeng autonomic, pwedeng voluntary, pwedeng involuntary. Okay? And then the third type of neuron is your interneurons. These are neurons that establish relationships among other neurons. And these are usually in the form of multipolar or anaxonic neurons. Okay? So, let's discuss the structure of your neurons in detail. No? So, hinapyawan lang kasi natin na you have dendrite, you have cell body, and then yung axon. No? So, what do you do when you take what do you see when you take a closer look at your neuron? Let's start first with the most bulky part of your neuron, which is your cell body. Okay? Your cell body is this one. The cell body is the portion of the neuron that contains the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Okay? The nucleus and the cytoplasm, yun lang yung included. Yung mga extensions outside the nucleus and the cytoplasm, that is part of the dendrites or the axons. Depende kung ano yung tinuturo, no? So, what do you see in the cell body? The nuclei are large, euchromatic, and with prominent nucleoli. Because your cell body is the synthetic center, it is also actively producing ribosomes. It is also actively producing protein. So, kapag a lot of synthesis is going on, the nuclei tend to be prominent. Nucleoli tend to be prominent. Okay? Another thing you see in the cytoplasm of these neurons are your nasal bodies, also known as chromatophilic substance. Okay? Chromato is color, philic is loving. So these nasal bodies love color kasi they stain easily, no? Why do they stain easily? Because these regions contain numerous ribosomes and highly developed rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay? Highly developed rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay? And then, another thing you can see, in the cytoplasm of your cell body, is the abundance of cytoskeletal elements such as your microtubules, your actin filaments, and your intermediate filaments, di ba? Kasi itong cell body natin, this is the place where everything is synthesized, no? So yung mga processes ng neurons natin, walang ginagawa dyan. What the neuron does rather is synthesizes in the cell body, tapos yung mga materials transferred to other parts of the neuron using cytoplasmic streaming with your cytoskeletal elements. Kaya itong kaya abundant in cytoskeleton itong cell body ng neurons natin. Okay? So after the cell body, let's discuss the dendrites. No? So the dendrites are characterized by highly branched tapering processes that emerge off the cell body. So this is your cell body, di ba? So the things emerging from the cell body, when we're talking about your multipolar neurons, merong processes that tend to branch, okay? And when they branch, they get thinner and thinner. They taper, no? So habang mas maraming branching, mas manipis ng manipis yung mga processes ng dendrites mo, no? And these processes is where you receive signals, no? The dendrites serve as the principal signal reception and processing site of your neurons, okay? So yung ends of your dendrites end in either sensory receptors or can form synapses with neighboring neurons, okay? And then you see sometimes you see in histologic section yung tinatawag nating dendritic spines, which are the initial processing sites for synaptic signals, no? So later makita natin. And then after the dendrites, you have your axon. Your axon is usually a singular long cylindrical process extending from the cell body. So kung ito yung cell body mo, puto lang yung picture, di ba? This is cell body. Extending from the cell body is your axon. Itong color yellow dito sa loob, di ba? That's your axon. This axon originates from a triangular area in the cell body called the axon hillock. Okay? Sa axon hillock siya nakakabit, no? And when you traverse the structure of your axon, may kita nyo? Let's try zooming in. Here is your axon. Meron tayong mga naka-label dito. So, this is your axon. You can see, the yellow one is the axon. Meron tayong mga color blue dito. Okay? What are those blue things? These blue things refer to your myelin sheath. Okay? So, yung ating axons, sometimes they have coverings called the myelin sheath, no? Meron tayong myelin sheath. What is the myelin sheath? It's a layer of fat that serves to insulate the axon, no? This is fat, okay? This is a layer of fat that insulates your neuron. What is the point in insulating the neuron? It's to improve the speed of transmitting nerve impulses. Okay, so the presence of this myelin sheath will increase the speed of transmission because of its ability to cause saltatory conduction of nerve impulses. Okay, so ano nangyayari sa saltatory conduction of nerve impulses? For example, this is your axon. Kunyari, meron kang isa pang axon over here that is not myelinated. Okay, kasi not all of your neurons have myelin sheath, no? Meron tayong neurons na nakahubad lang yung axon nila. So what happens when you have a neuron that has no myelin sheath? How will the signal travel? The signal will travel dire-diretso para siyang naglalakad along the course of the axon. Ganun yung nangyayari if you have an unmyelinated axon. Meanwhile, if you have a myelinated axon, because of the insulation caused by the myelin sheath, hindi kayang magdire-diretso ng nerve impulse, no? What the nerve impulse will do, rather, is to jump to the gaps in between the myelin sheath. So para siyang sumasali ng hurdles. Di ba sa Olympics, di ba? Merong event daw na hurdles, tatakbo sila, tapos there are hurdles in front, tapos magja-jump across sila until makarating sila sa finish line. So ganun yung nangyayari sa saltatory conduction, no? You have your nerve impulse, instead of going through the tube of your axon, it will jump until it reaches the end. So, para siyang nag-hurdles. Yun yung tinatawag nating saltatory conduction of nerve impulses. And since it's jumping, it's able to cross the length of your axon at a faster rate compared to when the impulse propagates along every inch, no? So saltatory conduction of your nerve impulses is because of the presence of your myelin sheath, okay? So, next. Pag nakarating na yung signal mo, after the area with the myelin sheaths, there are branches at the ends of your axons, no? And at the ends of your axons, you see something called your terminal butons. Okay, your terminal butons, siya yung terminal end, o yung knobs, dilated areas at the ends of your axons that contact with other neurons or effector organs. Siya yung point of contact, no? Doon sa terminal butons. Okay? So, yun yung structure ng axon natin. So, remember your axon, wala ganong synthesis na nangyayari dito, no? As we mentioned before, the synthesis happens in the cell body. Your axon simply has a lot of microtubules, you have a lot of neurofilaments and vesicles, and a lot of mitochondria in order to facilitate the movement of substances from the cell body to the rest of the neuron, to the ends of the axons towards the terminal butons, no? So, next. So, tapos na tayo sa structure ng ating neurons, no? So, let's view what they look like under the microscope, no? So, as you can see here, actually, hindi mo naman na kailangan i-zoom kasi malinaw naman na siya. So, here, you can see the neurons. Here is your nerve cell body. Okay, cell body yan. The nucleus. You have darker pink areas. Yung mga bilog-bilog na tuldok-tuldok dyan. Okay? Those are your Nissil substance or your Nissil granules. Diba? Nissil granules, Nissil substance. Those are areas that are rich in ribosomes as well as highly developed rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay? You can also see emerging from the cell body, you have your numerous dendrites. No? Dendrites, dendrites, and dendrites, and dendrites. And then you have one singular long thin process called the axon emerging from the axon hillock. So this triangular area is your axon hillock, and from the axon hillock extends your axon. Okay? The black dots surrounding, they comprise your glial cells. No? So we'll discuss glial cells in greater detail later on. Okay? Another visualization. So dito makikita mo yung processes ng neuron natin, no? Pero actually, you don't really see the processes routinely. Kailangan mo ng special staining techniques, okay? So here, when you visualize your neuron, you can see, meron nucleus, meron tayong Nissil bodies containing highly developed rough ER. The processes are not very visible, no? Okay? Here is staining using another method. Mas kita mo yung processes niya. And here is the spread version. Okay? Using gold staining. So, makita mo that your neurons have nuclei. They have a lot of thin processes extending towards other neurons, no? And other cells, no? So, makita nyo yung maninipis na processes that form intercommunicating networks. Okay? So, that's the structure of your neuron, no? When you look at them from the photo micrograph, no? So, when your neurons come in contact with other neurons or with your effector organs, the area where you see this point of contact is referred to as the synapse. No? So your synapse is the site where nerve impulses are transmitted from one neuron to the next cell. Okay, so what is the next cell? The next cell is either another neuron, a muscle, or a gland. No? So yung neuron mo is sending a signal to the next cell. The next cell is any of these three. No? And your synapse is actually made of three important parts. No? You have your presynaptic, which is the cell that is sending the signal. So, yung ating, ito yung terminal end na axon natin, o yung tinatawag nating terminal butons. And then, you have a space after the terminal button. Okay? The space after the terminal button is referred to as the synapse or the synaptic cleft. Okay? So, merong space in between. And then, after the space, only then will you have the postsynaptic cell membrane. So, as you can see, the terminal button is not really in direct complete contact with your postsynaptic cell membrane. There is a gap, okay, in between them. And you refer to that gap as the synapse or the synaptic cleft. Okay? So, ano nangyayari when a nerve impulse is transferred along your synapse, no? So, meron kang signal from way above the cell, dadaan siya sa dadaan siya sa dendrites, then the cell body, then the axon, and then from the axon, it will go downwards to reach your terminal buttons. No? So, pag nasa terminal buttons na siya, the entry of the nerve impulse will trigger the influx of calcium ions. Okay? The presence of the calcium ions will encourage the release of neurotransmitters from synaptic vesicles found in the terminal button, no? So that calcium will encourage exocytosis of these vesicles. Pag nag-exocytosis yung vesicles, you will release neurotransmitters. And the neurotransmitters will go into the synaptic cleft. Okay? Pagdating sa synaptic cleft, it will float towards the receptors located at the postsynaptic cell membrane. Okay? So neurotransmitters bind to the postsynaptic cell membrane, and then that binding will trigger the influx of sodium ions. Okay? The neurotransmitters will trigger the influx of sodium ions. So in the synapse, when a nerve signal happens, there will be conversion of the nerve impulse, which is an electrical stimulus, into neurotransmitters, and the neurotransmitters, when it enters the postsynaptic cell, converts that becomes an influx of sodium ions, which is a chemical signal. Okay, and then and then that will travel now as an impulse dun sa next cell na yun. Okay? Next. So, tapos na tayo sa synapse and sa neurons. Now, let's go into the supportive substances of your, supportive cells, rather, of your nervous system. No, you have your glial cells. Your glial cells are cells that support neuronal survival and foster an optimal environment for neuronal activity. Your glial cells are 10 times more abundant than neurons, and there are different glial cells for each division of the nervous system. You have the CNS glial cells, namely your oligodendrocytes, astrocytes, microglia, and ependymal cells, while you have your glial cells for the peripheral nervous system, which are your satellite cells and your Schwann cells. Okay? So these are the basic functions of the oligodendrocytes. The ones that are analogous are your Schwann cells and your oligodendrocytes, because they both form and maintain the myelin sheath. Okay, so discuss natin tong glial cells, no? One by one. Okay. So here are your glial cells. So the first one is your astrocyte. Okay? Astrocyte. So your astrocyte regulates interstitial fluid composition. It provides structural support and organization to the CNS. It assists with neuronal development, maintaining the healthy environment around your cell, and it replicates to occupy the space of dying neurons. And ito yung high yield dyan. It helps to form the blood-brain barrier. Okay? It helps to form the blood-brain barrier. Okay? So ito yung astrocyte natin. As you can see, the color green. Meron siyang parang spokes. Okay? So imagine it, mukha siyang star. Okay? Kaya siya tinawag na astrocyte. Kasi astro, as in referring to astronomy, space, etc. Your astrocytes helps form the blood-brain barrier because your astrocytes have this characteristic perivascular feet. Okay? So may mga paa, extension, may binti yung astrocyte mo. Okay? And may paa doon. Yung paa na yun nakaapak around the capillaries of your brain. No? What do those perivascular feet do? It closes any perforations, it closes any holes in the vasculature. So, ang mangyayari is hindi makakalusot kung ano man yung blood na nasa circulation papunta sa other brain tissue. Yung anything in the brain tissue will not leak into the vasculature. So, it forms a tight seal around your blood vessels. This blood-brain barrier is very important in maintaining the integrity of your nervous system, no? Kasi nga, if you notice, di ba, pag nagpapacheck up ka naman sa doktor, Usually, ang complaint, ubo, sipon, lagnat, sakit ng tiyan, sakit sa katawan, etc. Pero, kahit masakit yung ulo mo, madalang na may pupunta ka sa doktor tapos sasabihin may infection ka sa utak. Okay? May infection ka sa ano. Usually, may infection yung the rest of your body. CNS infection is relatively rare compared to the other infections that you suffer from. Kasi pag nagka-CNS, kasi madalang ka magka-CNS infection in the first place because you have an intact blood-brain barrier. Okay? The blood-brain barrier keeps your pathogens out of the nervous system. Hindi sila makapag-extravasate in the first place because of the presence of this perivascular feet of your astrocytes. No? So, hindi sila basta-basta nakakapasok sa utak natin. In theory, unless you have a severe infection or nagkaroon ka ng injury or trauma. No? So, dapat hindi sila makakapasok sa brain. So this blood-brain barrier is very important. It's a survival mechanism so that our central nervous system remains sterile. It remains pathogen-free. Okay? At the same time, this blood-brain barrier also makes it difficult for CNS infections to get treated, no? Kasi your blood-brain barrier is very impermeable, so to speak, no? So yung mga gamot, hindi rin sila madaling makapasok sa utak if may sakit ka na sa utak kasi merong blood-brain barrier that is preventing the entry of medications, no? So you have your astrocytes to thank for that. So the key thing is just so the thing to do is to avoid infection in the first place. Okay, be hygienic, be healthy. Para hindi ka mamumroblema ng CNS infection at kung paano gamutin yung CNS infection. Okay? Next, you have your ependymal cells. Okay? So, your ependymal cells are cells that assist in the production and circulation of something called cerebrospinal fluid. Okay? So, alam niyo naman na siguro itong cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebro sa brain, tapos spinal kasi sa spinal cord. So, this type of fluid flows along your brain, flows through a certain tract in your brain. They're produced by ventricles, and then they flow along that flow of CSF as well in the brain and as well as in the central canal of the spinal cord. No, so so the ependymal cells are basically the epithelium that lines the passageway of CSF. Hindi siya epithelial cell, rather, para siyang epithelium. Okay? So tandaan nyo, your ependymal cells look like this. They're usually cuboidal or columnar, no? So, and they sometimes have cell surface specialization. Yung iba sa kanila may microvilli, yung iba sa kanila merong cilia. Okay? So, siya yung parang epithelium, but not quite epithelium. Siya yung lining ng ventricles of the brain and the central canal of the spinal cord where your cerebrospinal fluid circulates. Okay? Next, you have your microglial cell. Your microglial cell are the macrophages found in your brain, di ba? Sabi natin, yung macrophage galing sa monocyte. Okay? The monocyte that migrates becomes a macrophage. Ano nangyari sa macrophage? Yung macrophage na yon, nagbabago yung pangalan, depende kung saang tissue siya natagpuan. Okay? Di ba sabi natin, pag sa liver, it's Kupffer cell. Kapag sa kidney, it's interstitial or mesangial cell. So, Langerhans cell, etc. So, kapag yung macrophage na hanap mo sa CNS, you call this as a microglial cell. Okay? And as with other macrophages, anong function ng macrophage mo? Is for phagocytosis. It's for antigen presentation. No? So, these are the phagocytic cells found in the central nervous system. Another means of protecting the CNS from infection because these phagocytic cells will engulf infectious agents and other harmful substances it detects. Okay? And then you have your oligodendrocytes. Okay? These are your oligodendrocytes. Yung oligodendrocytes natin, para silang may mga tangkay na nakaprotrude sa kanya leading to adjacent neurons. Okay? Si oligodendrocytes mo kasi nakadakma siya doon sa surrounding neurons in order to provide them with the myelin sheath. Okay? So yung nagpo-provide ng myelin sheath to the adjacent neurons or to the neurons nearby are your oligodendrocytes. Okay? So para siyang nakahawak on each end, okay? Yung pagkakahawak na yon forms the myelin sheath, okay? And the myelin sheath is there for faster propagation of nerve impulses. Okay, so that's it for CNS glial cells, no? You have your PNS glial cells naman. You have your satellite cells that insulates cell bodies and as well as regulates the nutrient and waste exchange of cell bodies found in peripheral ganglia. Okay, so yung ganglia is a group of neurons. Oh, group of cell bodies outside the CNS, no, ganglia. Right? So yung ganglia is a group of cell bodies located outside the CNS. So as you can see, this is a cross section of the spinal cord, no? So this is the spinal cord. So outside the spinal cord, that's already PNS. So this one is already PNS. Okay? So here you have your satellite cells surrounding the cell body. Okay, you have your satellite cells surrounding the cell body because it wants to isolate or insulate that cell body from the other cell bodies near it para hindi sila maghalo-halo ng charges. Okay? And then, so you call it a satellite cell kasi umaaligid-aligid siya doon sa paligid ng cell body natin. Okay? And then you have your Schwann cell or your neurolemocyte. Same thing. Okay? Siya yung gumagawa ng cell membrane. Okay? So what does your Schwann cell do? It insulates your peripheral nervous system axons by making myelin sheath. Okay? So siya yung gumagawa naman ng myelin sheath sa oligodendrocytes. No? So here, one myelin sheath is to one Schwann cell. Sa oligodendrocytes, one oligodendrocyte is to many myelin sheaths on many different neurons. Okay, so dito, one Schwann cell, one myelin sheath. Okay, and the function of the myelin sheath, of course, is to allow for faster propagation of action potentials or your nerve impulses. Okay, so here is an illustration of the difference, no? So each myelin sheath is one Schwann cell. Okay? Meanwhile, sa oligodendrocyte, we have one oligodendrocyte providing multiple myelin sheaths across multiple neurons. Okay? Ganon sa CNS natin. Dito, one myelin sheath is to one Schwann cell. Okay? So, let's discuss the appearance of your cells, your glial cells, no? Your astrocytes, apparently star-shaped, and they have perivascular feet, the close of your capillaries, no? So the most abundant glial cells of your body, or of the CNS rather, are your astrocytes, no? They're characterized by numerous cytoplasmic processes radiating from the cell body, okay? And these cell processes are actually not seen under routine light microscope, pero they're easily seen later if you stain using gold. Okay? So, kunyari ito, di ba? Ayan yung processes that you see surrounding the cell body. Okay? So, S is for soma. So, this is the soma of your astrocyte. Tapos, meron kang peripheral processes radiating from the soma. Okay? So, ganun yung itsura ng astrocytes natin. No? So, your astrocyte processes contain a particular protein called your GFAP, or you call it the glial fibrillary acidic protein. Okay? So, itong GFAP na to is something that you can use actually to detect your astrocytes, no? So, kapag you have an antibody that detects GFAP, you have an antibody that detects GFAP. So, lalagyan mo ng label yung antibody na yun. Kapag nilagay mo yung antibody sa tissue, didikit siya doon sa mga cells na may GFAP. Okay? At pag maraming umilaw na may label, ibig sabihin maraming GFAP. Okay? So, so makikita mo na ngayon yung processes surrounding this astrocyte. Kasi yung GFAP na to nakikita mo sa processes ng astrocyte natin, no? So, anong relevance ng pag-detect ng GFAP aside from visualizing your astrocytes? Pag mataas, siyempre, pag maraming GFAP, ibig sabihin, maraming astrocytes. Okay? So, this can also be used in the detection of tumors, no? Kapag mataas yung GFAP, it might imply the presence of an astrocytoma or an astrocyte that proliferated uncontrollably. So, it forms a mass. Okay? Next, you have the appearance of your ependymal cells. So, ganito naman yung itsura niya, di ba? As you can see, mukha siyang epithelium talaga, di ba? You have cells that are closely opposed to and adherent to each other. Mukha siyang epithelium. Zoom in view, mukha siyang epithelium. So, paano mo nalamang hindi siya epithelium? Because there is the lack of basement membrane. Okay? There is no basement membrane or basal lamina ependymal cells mo. That's why they're not considered as epithelia. Okay? It's considered as nervous tissue. Okay? Walang basement membrane or walang basal lamina. Okay? So this is the central canal of your spinal cord. So pag zoom in mo, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. Okay? Next, you have your microglia. Okay? Your microglia are the macrophages found in the CNS. Iba yung itsura niya from your usual macrophage. Kasi usual macrophage description natin, di ba, is kidney bean shape. Dito sa microglia, kamukha niya rin yung other cells of the nervous system. Puro sila lahat halos may spines. Meron silang cytoplasmic processes emerging from the center. So, ganun din yung itsura ng microglia natin. Marami siyang galamay na may branching. And your microglia are mobile, di ba sabi natin? Because para siyang rumoronda across your CNS para pag may may nakasalubong siyang pathogens, it will act upon it. Try niyang i-phagocytose. So for example, this arm, may na-detect siyang bacteria. Okay? What will happen? This extension will retract and then phagocytosis will commence. So ganun yung nangyayari dito. Yun yung ginagawa ng microglia natin. Okay? And then let's discuss the two types of cells making your myelin sheath. You have your oligodendrocytes in the CNS and your Schwann cells in the PNS. Okay, so ganito yung itsura. Nakailang drawing naman na tayo ng oligodendrocytes, no? So your oligodendrocytes have legs that attach to another cell making their myelin sheath, have other legs attached to another axon making their myelin sheath, etc. and etc. No, so your oligodendrocytes is known to have a very highly developed Golgi complex. No, yung Golgi complex niya is highly developed. And what happens when you have a cell that has a highly developed Golgi complex? When you have a cell that has a highly developed Golgi complex, the Golgi complex shows up in the microscope as something that is difficult to stain. Diba? Ganun din sa plasma cell. Last time, yung morphology ng plasma cell natin, merong pale areas because of the presence of a Golgi complex. No? Yung presence of an area wherein your Golgi apparatus is highly developed. So ito, your oligodendrocytes also have a highly developed Golgi complex. That's why they stain poorly. Okay? So, itong mga may pale areas na yan, those are allegedly oligodendrocytes. Pero in this label, by Junquera, he's trying to play it safe. So, ginawa niya lang G for glial cells. Oh, so, para, sabi niya, these are likely to be oligodendrocytes. Okay? And then, in the PNS, you have your satellite cells. No? You have your satellite cells, para silang satellite, di ba? Kasi they revolve around your cell. So, here is your cell. You have satellites revolving around it, di ba? Like the moon revolves around the earth, like your earth revolves around the sun. So, parang ganun. The satellite around the cell body. Okay, so these satellite cells are responsible, no, for maintaining the microenvironment inside your ganglia. It's also responsible for exchange of metabolic wastes and nutrients. No? So, ganyan yung itsura ng satellite cells mo. Okay? And then, you have your Schwann cells. Your Schwann cells are also responsible for making myelin sheath, this time in the peripheral nervous system. So, in this photomicrograph from a transmission electron microscope, this one is your axon. Okay? So, yung axon, ayan yung nerve mo mismo na binabalutan. No? So, itong Schwann cell, ang setup nila para silang turon at wrapper. Okay? Yung wrapper ng turon, so yung saging, doon is the axon. Yung wrapper is the Schwann cell that rolls over and over and over again, all over this axon until you form the desired thickness of your myelin sheath. No? So, ganito yung nangyari doon. No? It started here, tapos nag-ikot, umikot si Schwann cell all over until ma-reach na yung desired thickness of the myelin sheath, and then it will get stuck there. No? So makikita mo sa mga axons mo in the peripheral nervous system, you have your axon, tapos meron kang katabing, meron kang myelin sheath, and then you also see a nucleus. Okay? Okay? So, ganito yung itsura ng Schwann cell. Okay? So that's the last slide for nervous tissue. Activity for nervous tissue will be due next week as usual. Yung results na exams should be up by tonight. Try ko siyang i-publish later. And then, questions? Wala nang questions. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. Okay?
Excuse me po.
So quiz next week will be muscle and then nervous. Okay?
Thank you po.